The city had been under lockdown for 3 weeks. Streets once buzzing with life now lay silent and cold, a stillness stretching far beyond the curfew hours. For Ravi Mehta, a software engineer stuck working from home in his modest second-floor apartment, the isolation had become a dull ache, a companion more than a condition. Each night blurred into the next, emails, instant noodles, news of rising cases, and eerie silence that wrapped around the apartment like a thick blanket. But by the 10th night, silence had a rival. It began subtly. Tap, tap, tap. He thought it was his own heartbeat echoing in his ears at first. But then, every night at exactly 3 a.m., the sound returned, soft footsteps from the ceiling above. Rhythmic, unhurried, deliberate. The apartment above his had been vacant for over 5 years. The landlord, an aging man named Mr. Kozla, had once muttered about property disputes and renovations that never happened. Dust collected on the stairwell that led to it. No one had entered it in years. Ravi was sure of that. But now it sounded as if someone was walking up there. Pacing, watching. Ravi recorded the sound on his phone. Replayed it again and again, trying to rationalize. Pipes? Rats? Sound carrying from another building? But then came the dragging noise. Furniture being pulled across the floor. And one night, as he lay in bed frozen, he heard something far worse. A knock. 3 times. From directly above his bed. His breath caught in his throat. His limbs refused to move. It was as if the building itself was holding him down, waiting to see what he would do. He messaged Mr. Kozla the next morning. "Hey, any chance someone is staying in the apartment above me? I've been hearing things." The landlord replied after hours, dismissive. No one has the key but me. It's been locked since 2017. Ravi didn't reply. He stared at the ceiling. That night at 3 a.m. the footsteps returned, heavier, slower, as if they knew he had asked. By week 3 Ravi was on the verge of breakdown. The sound had intensified. Now there were whispers, muffled conversations, a distant sob, sometimes laughter, sometimes the sound of scratching, fingernails against wood. He placed a chair in the hallway beneath the attic access, stared at it for a full hour before climbing it and placing his ear to the ceiling. Nothing. Then, the moment he turned to step down, thud, 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 right above him. His chest throbbed with terror. But something had changed. His fear had twisted into something else. Obsession. He needed to see it. He needed to know. On the 23rd night at precisely 2:55 a.m., Ravi crept up the emergency staircase to the 3rd floor. Dust clung to the banister. Cobwebs hung like drapes over the light fixtures. The door to 3B stood untouched, rusted, locked, and staring at him like a blind eye. He used a hammer. 3 swings later, the wood splintered and the door groaned open. The air hit him like a slap. Cold, damp, stale. The scent of old wood, mold, and something sweet, like rotting flowers, lingered thick. He stepped in. His breath caught. The room was familiar. The couch, the TV stand, the small rectangular carpet, even the crooked lampshade. He walked further and stopped at the threshold of the bedroom. It was his. Same bedsheets, same curtains, same bookshelf, down to the cracked spine of 1984 sitting on the edge. But everything was older. The wallpaper had yellowed with age. The electronics were from another era. Rotary phone, boxy TV, no microwave. Photographs on the wall showed people with 70s haircuts and bell-bottom jeans. On the coffee table sat a newspaper. The Times of India, March 14, 1973. His blood turned to ice. He walked toward the bedroom mirror, because he had to. The same mirror he had in his own room. But it wasn't a mirror. It was a window. On the other side the room was the same. Same bed, same angle. But he wasn't in it. A man stood there, pale, eyes sunken, wearing his clothes, watching him, smiling. Ravi stumbled back. The figure in the mirror did not. Instead it raised one hand and knocked. 3 times. From inside the mirror. Panicking, Ravi turned to run. The hallway was gone. There was only more of the same apartment. And the mirror appeared again. But now the reflection showed his own apartment, 2B, downstairs. The other Ravi was there too, standing in the same spot Ravi had been earlier that night. He watched as Ravi in the mirror turned toward the camera, picked up the phone and smiled. 1 week later, Mr. Kozla was on a video call with a new tenant. "Yes, the place is clean. ready to rent. Last guy just left during the lockdown. Didn't even say goodbye. Behind him, through the open door of 2B, a man stood silently by the window. The camera glitched for a moment, just long enough to show another figure in the reflection. One floor above. Smiling. And knocking. The town of Elmbrook had always been quiet, a forgotten patch of countryside, surrounded by thick woods and winding creeks. But when the lockdown came, it fell into a silence deeper than anything natural. It started with a warning. At 7 p.m. sharp on a chilly Thursday evening, the emergency sirens wailed for exactly 10 seconds. The town's residents, confused and alarmed, turned on their radios and TVs. That's when the mayor's face appeared on every screen, pale, sweat lining his forehead, eyes shifting nervously as if something was behind the camera. He said only one thing. Do not speak. Do not whisper. Do not respond. Lock your doors. Stay silent. Until further notice. Then the screen went black. Day 1. No one knew what was happening. There were no reports of a virus, no power outage, no riots, just silence. All forms of communication were cut except for the mayor's emergency broadcast system. Texts and calls didn't go through. Internet access failed the moment someone typed a message or opened a mic. Then the whispers began. Just after midnight, many in Elmbrook heard them, soft, hushed voices drifting through vents, under doors, beneath floorboards. They weren't speaking any known language. It was suggestive, compelling, like someone trying to guide you, call you, tempt you. Some said it sounded like a child. Others, a woman. Some heard the voices of the dead. But all of them agreed. The longer you listened, the more it sounded like your own voice. Day 4, the boy. Lucas Byrne, 13, didn't handle silence well. His parents had obeyed the mayor's order. No speaking, no whispering, not even breathing too loudly. They wrote on notepads, glared at each other when footsteps were too loud, and stayed locked inside their house on Oakmere Lane. But Lucas was curious. That night, when the whispers came again, faint, melodic, just outside his bedroom window, he didn't cover his ears like before. He listened. He heard his name. Lucas. And then, something that chilled his blood. They're lying. Follow me. He peeked through the curtain. A figure stood at the edge of the woods across the road, draped in a long, shadowy robe. Its face obscured. It didn't speak again, but it turned and walked into the trees. Lucas's hand hovered over the doorknob for a long time before he made a decision that would change everything. He followed. Lucas tiptoed through the dense forest behind Oakmere. The figure never looked back but always remained visible, just out of reach. The whispers grew louder, not in the air but in his head. They guided his feet, down an overgrown trail, to an old half-buried storm shelter in the ground. He hesitated, but the whispers grew warm and gentle now, coaxing him like a lullaby. It's safe here. This is where they all went. Lucas opened the rusted metal door and descended the steps. What he found beneath Elmbrook was not a shelter. It was a catacomb, ancient and carved into the stone, lined with symbols that pulsed faintly in red and violet. Hundreds of people stood inside. His neighbors, classmates, teachers, the grocer, the mailman. People he hadn't seen since lockdown began. They were chanting but silently. Mouths moving in perfect synchronization. Eyes glazed over. At the center of the room stood a massive stone arch, like a doorway, with a shadow shifting behind it, rippling like liquid darkness. The figure who had led him stepped up to the arch and raised its hand. Suddenly, the whispering in Lucas's head became deafening. Screams. Promises. Desires. It told him everything he ever wanted. And that the town had kept it from him. That the mayor lied. That Elmbrook had been built atop this doorway, this seal, to suppress something older than time itself. And the cult's purpose was to awaken it, with silence as the offering. Sound would bind it. Silence would free it. And the town had already been silent for 4 nights. They needed just one more. Lucas ran. The voices chased him. Whispered memories, guilt, visions, the things he feared, the things he wanted. His dead dog, his first crush, his father's angry voice. He ran until the forest spat him back onto Oakmere Lane, panting and trembling. He banged on his door. His parents opened it, startled, but silent. He screamed at them, told them what he saw, but their eyes turned glassy. They turned back inside and closed the door. The final broadcast. At 11:58 p.m., all radios and TVs flickered to life across Elmbrook. The mayor appeared again. His eyes were bloodshot. His mouth quivered. He whispered hoarsely, barely audible. "They're here. The seal is breaking. Forgive me. Speak. Scream if you can. Break the silence." Then his head twisted sharply off camera. And the feed cut. Midnight. The entire town held its breath. No one spoke. The silence stretched. And then, the ground shook. A low hum began beneath Elmbrook, rising from its roots. Homes cracked. Trees bent. Lights exploded. And the whispers? They stopped. Because they no longer needed to whisper. They had entered the world. And they had voices now.